The city of Shiraz had seen many extraordinary men. Warriors who had conquered distant lands, merchants who had built fortunes from nothing. But none fascinated the people more than a scholar named Nizam. Nizam was brilliant. He studied astronomy, mathematics. He mastered medicine, philosophy, and the hidden arts, and ancient texts from distant civilizations. People traveled for weeks just to seek his advice. Some asked him when to begin businesses. Others wanted to know whom they should marry.
Many simply wished to hear him speak.
Over time, admiration turned into something more dangerous. Nizam began believing that there was no mystery beyond his understanding. He no longer said, "I think." Instead, he said, "I know."
With his flawless, unmatched solar eclipses, charting exactly when the bright daytime sky would plunge into silver twilight. He flawlessly calculated the shifting seasons, using his grand celestial compass to track the exact moments when golden autumn would magically surrender to cold winter.
He confidently advised the most powerful regional governors parchment scrolls containing profound political wisdom that effortlessly shaped the empire's grand future.
Every single undeniably correct prediction only served to endlessly strengthen his monumental pride, filling his heart with an overwhelming and dangerous sense of absolute superiority.
Soon enough, the awestruck citizens of the sprawling city began calling him by a powerful, truly divine new title, the man who understood fate. Bathing in their endless devotion, the profoundly proud scholar never corrected them, embracing the illusion of absolute perfection.
One deeply fateful evening, during an incredibly opulent banquet, heavily attended by the grandest merchants and most respected scholars, the heavy silence of the grand banquet hall was broken when a bravely curious young student respectfully stepped forward.
Great Master, if you truly understand the hidden secrets of destiny and the vast, endless heavens, can you gaze into the infinite cosmos and accurately predict the exact hour of your own death?
The opulent banquet room instantly fell into a suffocating silence, the wealthy guests entirely paralyzed by sheer shock.
Every single person nervously held their breath, completely paralyzed, waiting in pure suspense for the master's profound answer.
Instead of showing fear, Nizam slowly formed a chillingly fearless smile, radiating absolute godlike invincibility.
He majestically turned his gaze toward the brilliant stars shining brightly above, and calmly replied with unshakable certainty,
"Yes, I possess the supreme, flawless knowledge to calculate the exact, inevitable moment of my own demise." A sudden, heavy wave of gasps spread rapidly through the grand gathering, paralyzing the wealthy guests.
Exactly 1 year from today, just before the golden sun beautifully sets, death will come for me. His terrifying, prophetic words did not stay confined. They spread rapidly through majestic Shiraz by morning.
Within a matter of mere days, the extraordinary rumor traveled across deserts, and the entire kingdom knew.
Many deeply devoted followers believed him entirely, trusting his flawless intellect and unmatched wisdom without question.
However, deeply skeptical rival scholars boldly called him a massive fraud, entirely refusing to accept his claims.
Passionate street vendors endlessly discussed the chilling rumors over mountains of colorful spices, debating his impending doom.
Even innocent young children repeated the dark prophecy, turning his terrifying destiny into a simple daily game. The unbelievable rumor echoed so loudly across the lands that even distant kings pondered the bizarre story.
Months passed swiftly. Rather than ruining his reputation, the bold prediction only made Nizam's legendary fame grow.
Desperate people happily paid absolutely enormous sums of pure gold simply for a brief moment of consultation.
He proudly accepted their endless admiration and overwhelming worship, entirely convinced his mind had conquered the universe.
Yet, deep beneath his towering confidence, a small, cold, and terrifying seed of fear quietly took root. In the dead of night, an inescapable whisper haunted him. What if his flawless calculations were wrong? As the predicted day rapidly approached, the entire sprawling city became fiercely obsessed with his final fate. Exactly 3 days before the doomed date, Nizam securely locked himself inside his grand ancient mansion. No strangers were permitted entry, and he methodically sealed every single entrance to his grand estate.
Heavily armored, deeply loyal guards completely surrounded the perimeter, tasked with keeping absolute and perfect order.
Vast, overflowing supplies of fresh food and potent medicinal herbs filled the dimly lit grand rooms.
Highly skilled, deeply serious royal doctors waited nearby, prepared to heal any sudden or mysterious affliction. Desperate astrologers urgently recalculated the vast celestial maps, searching frantically for any hidden and saving truth. He meticulously removed every single conceivable danger, forbidding any sharp objects or open, burning candle flames. Surrounded by heavy, impenetrable stone walls, the great scholar fully intended to defeat invincible fate itself. Outside the heavily guarded walls, the gathering crowd felt far less like tragedy and like festivity. The magnificent golden morning finally arrived, and thousands of eager citizens stood quietly beyond the gates. Some devout followers prayed for his survival, while skeptical rivals quietly mocked his incredibly grand arrogance. Deep inside the impenetrable mansion, Nizam sat entirely alone, his once towering confidence having completely vanished. In the heavy silence, every tiny sound startled him immensely, especially the sudden creak of wood. Even the gentle, graceful flutter of heavy velvet curtains moving in the breeze sent terrifying chills.
در مزمداد حسان دن چمتی ندر متن نندردن مزنی رسی مدارد میهیتن کاهانر زر نسهن دن بشن مال نسونن.
The long afternoon painfully dragged on, casting incredibly long shadows across the deeply tense, silent room.
As the golden sunset rapidly approached, the excited crowd outside began nervously whispering in total confusion. Inside the silent chamber, the grand scholar slowly realized that his prophesied final hour had passed. A soft, deeply relieved smile slowly crept onto his pale face, breaking his terrible, heavy silence. His quiet smile quickly turned into soft laughter, completely releasing the immense, crushing terror from within.
Finally, the master stood up with incredible power, his majestic confidence suddenly returning in full force.
I was completely right. My flawless intellect prevailed, the Nizam, and mortal death could not touch me today.
He triumphantly unsealed the heavy wooden shutters and stepped gracefully out onto the high stone balcony.
Nizam proudly raised his hands high into the golden evening air, absorbing their absolute, endless wonder.
True knowledge powerfully triumphs over mortal fear. Our grand intellectual reason easily defeats ancient, foolish superstition.
The mesmerized crowd roared enthusiastically, passionately celebrating what they believed was a miraculous victory over fate.
But then, from deep within the grand mansion, a highly concerned servant called out with urgency.
A forgotten lantern had fallen hours earlier, sending quiet, hidden glowing embers slowly through dry walls.
Thick, dark smoke suddenly poured heavily through the beautiful corridors, plunging the grand estate into chaos. The mighty scholar froze entirely. Escaping through the panicked gates would cause immense and terrifying chaos. Stumbling blindly through the thick, choking smoke, the desperate man found his hidden escape entirely blocked.
Surrounded by ancient texts, heavy tears filled his eyes as he finally realized his profound limits.
Just before the majestic golden sun entirely disappeared, the grand roof collapsed into profound, heavy silence.
True wisdom is not knowing everything. The greatest danger is the absolute certainty of your perfection. Death is perfectly written, arriving exactly at its appointed time. No mortal man can outwit destiny.